I stole from work to make ends meet, and now I'm drowning in guilt. I never thought I would be writing a post like this, but I guess life has a way of pushing us into corners we never thought we'd find ourselves in. I'm a single mother of two beautiful children, a 7-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. Their father left us a couple of years ago without any warning or reason, and since then, I've been doing my best to make ends meet and provide for them on my own. I work for a large corporation, and my salary just isn't enough to cover all the bills. Rent, utilities, childcare, groceries, clothing, school supplies. The list goes on and on. I've tried to find additional work, but between my full-time job and taking care of my children, I simply don't have the time or energy for another commitment. A few months ago, I found myself in an incredibly tight spot. I had just paid the rent, but the money I had left for the rest of the month wasn't even enough to cover basic necessities, let alone any emergencies that might come up. I was at my wit's end, and I couldn't see any other way out. That's when I made the decision to steal from my workplace. I'm not proud of it, and I've never done anything like this before, but I felt like I had no other choice. The company I work for has a warehouse full of supplies that they use to run their business. I figured if I could just take a few items here and there and sell them, I might be able to make enough money to get by. So I did it. I started small, taking a couple of items that I knew wouldn't be missed. I sold them online, and the money I made was enough to keep us afloat for a little while. As the weeks went by, I found myself stealing more and more just to make ends meet. I was always careful not to take too much or anything that would be easily noticed, but the guilt was eating me up inside. It's been months now, and I'm still doing it. I know it's wrong, and I know that I could get caught at any moment, but I can't seem to stop. I'm terrified of what would happen to my children if I lost my job or worse, ended up in jail. But I'm also terrified of what would happen to them if I stopped stealing and couldn't afford to pay our bills. I'm reaching out to this community because I'm desperate for some kind of advice or support. Has anyone else here ever done something like this? How do you deal with the guilt? Is there any way to make amends without putting my family's future at risk? I feel like I'm stuck in this horrible cycle, and I don't know how to break free. Any advice, support, or even just an understanding ear would be appreciated more than you can imagine. Thank you for taking the time to read my story. Response 1. I'm so sorry to hear about your situation. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to feel like you're backed into a corner like that. While I haven't personally been in your shoes, I would strongly recommend seeking out local resources to help you make ends meet. There might be food banks, financial assistance programs, or even support groups that can help you find a more sustainable solution to your problems. Good luck, and I hope things improve for you and your family soon. Response 2. I won't pretend to understand your situation completely, but I do understand the desperation you must be feeling. I can't condone stealing, but I also can't judge you for doing what you felt was necessary to take care of your children. It's clear that you're feeling a lot of guilt and remorse, which shows that you're not doing this out of greed or selfishness. If you can, try to find a way to gradually reduce your reliance on stealing. Maybe pick up some freelance work or look for local assistance programs. As for dealing with the guilt, try talking to a counselor or therapist to work through those feelings. You're not alone, and there are people out there who want to help you find a way out of this. Response 3. I'm going to be blunt. You need to stop stealing immediately. Yes, your situation is difficult, and I feel for you, but stealing from your employer is not a long-term solution. It's only a matter of time before you get caught, and the consequences could be disastrous for both you and your children. Please look into alternative options, such as government assistance or charitable organizations, to help you get back on your feet. The guilt you're feeling is a sign that you know this isn't the right path, and it's important to face that and make a change now, before it's too late. Response 4. I have been in a similar situation, and I understand how desperate you must feel. When I was struggling to make ends meet, I started stealing small items from my workplace to sell online. At first, I thought I was being resourceful, but eventually, the guilt caught up with me. I knew I had to stop, but I didn't know how to without putting my family at risk. I confided in a close friend, and they helped me find resources in my community to help with expenses. I also began taking on odd jobs and freelance work to supplement my income. It wasn't easy, but I managed to stop stealing and find a more sustainable way to support my family. The guilt never completely goes away, but it does get easier to deal with as you make positive changes in your life. Please reach out to someone you trust and ask for help. There are resources and support available to you, and you don't have to face this alone. What do you think she should do? That is a tough spot to be in for sure. With as much as there is in this world, humanity cannot seem to figure out how to manage our resources in a way that doesn't let people starve to death. Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.